Okay, so I now take the pleasure to introduce Professor Vijaya Lakshmi Tirla. She is an associate professor and HOD in English at the Maratha Mandal Degree College, Belgavi, Karnataka. She is the NAC coordinator, chairman, English Teachers Forum, Rani Chennamma University, Belgavi. The President Siriganda Women's Cell Belgavi, visited all European countries, acted as an NSS officer and in receipt Best NSS Officer, State and National Awards by the Governor and Chief Minister of Karnataka, in receipt of Shikshana Ratna Award as well, and many more. Welcome, Professor Vijay Lakshmi Terlapur. You may please go ahead with your keynote address.
Yeah, just make a sign that I'm audible. Am I audible? Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, very good morning to everyone. The conference director, Bosle sir, and chairman, Shitole sir, secretaries, Dr. Prakash Divakaran and Dr. Neha Puranik. Just now, a wonderful speech was given by Girish Kumar sir and Manoj Jain sir, and all other dignitaries on the dais, and all other the participants, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, I deem it as my special privilege to be here before you on this. Rather, it's an auspicious occasion for me. It's an international conference on sustainability in business practices and challenges in management, humanities, higher education, and sciences. A wonderful topic has been chosen by the organizers. So I take this opportunity to congratulate all the organizers. At the outset, I would like to congratulate and also would like to thank the committee for having given me a freedom, a liberty to choose a topic of my own. So far, we have been discussing about sustainability in the field of education, in the field of management, in the field of humanity, in the field of a society or a nation, whatever be the situation. Here, when we want a sustainability, the leadership of that particular has also to be correct. It has to be very effective. So, I have chosen a topic that is leadership qualities in relevance with Kautilya's, Chanakya's strategies. Dear friends, we all have heard about Kautilya, and when we look at the history, he is very popular there, the most outstanding character in the history. Majority of the people do not like history subject. They say that, they think that it is a dead subject. But here, a very expert person has quoted it very well, that Hindanana Dariyaddu Mundanena Balladu. If you do not know history properly, then you also cannot understand the future properly. So dear friends, it is also an urgent need to peep into the history also, to make your forthcoming future the brighter one and the perfect one. Recently, I read a book on Chanakya, Kautilya. Chanakya's philosophy, his ideas, they fascinated me so much, especially his ideas about leadership qualities. Yes, dear friends, very often we have been noticing, may it be a society, may it be a nation or a state, an institution, or may it be a family. If there is a proper leader, a perfect leader, then everything will be all right. Many people on many dayas have already discussed about the leadership qualities, but some of the qualities that are narrated by Kautilya, I'm going to share before you today. Yeah, dear friends, leadership quality, as per the say of a Kautilya, leadership without training is very dangerous. So if at all you want to become a leader, perfect leader, exact leader, training is must, says Kautilya. For example, if you become the captain of the team without knowing how to bat, then we are going to put, or you're going to put the whole team into problems. For example, reading books, no doubt, is a very good habit, but at the same time, discussions and conversations with a book is not possible. We read book, but after reading a book, probably we might be having some doubts in our mind, some clarification we need to be clarified, for which a guru is required, a teacher is required. So, guru, the role of guru, the importance of guru is very, very vital in the life of a leader. If at all you want to become a very good leader, you must have a guru with whom you can discuss the problem and get the doubts clarified. Dear friends, most of the times, suppose think that I or we read a book on swimming, or we read a book on yoga. So that is a theoretical knowledge. It's a theoretical knowledge. But when it comes to practicability, when I get down into the pond or a well to swim, then I need a coach who can assist me in practical life. That is how, dear students, dear friends, I'm sorry, very often I'm in the habit of calling students in the class. That is how, dear friends, here training is must element for a captain, for a leader, if he wants to become a perfect leader. Then I was referring the name of a Chanakya or a Kautilya. He was the most brilliant person way back 2500 years back in the history. But one thing we have to remember, he was not an imaginary person, but a real historical character. Real historical character 2005 years back, and he lived in Magadha Raja. So this Magadha Raja is now in Bihar, and the capital of that Magadha Raja was Pataliputra, which is now in Patna. And this Kautilya was a teacher, and further, this Kautilya, the most brilliant person, he changed the history of India with his philosophy, with his brilliance, with his strategies. And he converted India into a golden sparrow. Yes, dear friends, when we look back into the history, when we peep into the history, we have been known that there were so many invaders invaded India, and there were so many traders who visited India for a trade purpose. And India was a country of a rich culture, heritage, religion, dharmas, trade, and everything. So all other neighboring countries were fascinated towards Indian culture and heritage. In that connection, many people used to visit India for the trade purpose. The fascinating fact about this India was very famous for spices during those days. But one thing we had to remember, during those days, India did not have the global relevance. But go back to Ramayana and Mahabharata, long back, way back to the past history. So during those days, the world map of India, or the world map or Indian map, not extended far to the other countries. But now it has become, it has worldwide global impact. Indeed, so here, economy of the country plays once again a very, very important role in the development of the country, in the progress of the country. But always it is an essential element that you have to keep the economy of the country keep moving, keep going. If the economic system or economy becomes a stagnant, then there arises a big problem. But keeping it rich, keeping economic condition rich is a kind of a development. Keeping it moving is a kind of a development. And this particular idea was followed by Arthashastrajna, that was Kautilya. Yeah, dear friends, Kautilya was a disciple of a Takshashila University. He was also a teacher there. And as already I said, he wrote several books on his strategies. One of them is Arthashastra, and another one is Chanakya Niti, Strategies of Chanakya. Chanakya was no doubt a great leader. He was a great a guru, a quite experienced person. and he wrote and he taught so many theories, so many siddhanta, but he not only just wrote about it and taught it and advised it, but he himself practiced it first. So always, dear friends, practice makes us perfect. So all these great leaders, whatever they wanted to advise others, before writing it, before advising it, they practiced it first. They implemented it in their real life. Then they advised. So according to Kautilya, if at all you want to become a real leader and a perfect leader, before advising someone, before preaching someone, practice it yourself first. Have that experimentation and experience in your life. So, dear friends, Kautilya was known as a king maker. He was a king maker, and he made a wonderful king in the history, that is Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya together, they made a powerful nation, that is India. Here, Kautilya or Chanakya, he wanted to create new India. Very often we think about creating new country, new state, new provisions like that. Similar way, Kautilya wanted to create a new India with youth as an icon of that country, icon of that nation. Because during those days, the management, the Vyavastha was very old, and there were 16 regional kingdoms in the country. And once again, between the between kingdoms, there were great disputes, there were quarrels, and a kind of anarchy, and a lot of social disturbances were existing during those days. And that is how he wanted to create new India with a new icon of a youth in the country. And Alexander, as we have already read history very often, he was great opponent of our country. But the combination, the pair of Chandragupta Maurya and Kautilya together, they defeated Alexander. So this is how this pair tried and they made a new nation, that is India. So preferably, Kautilya wanted an youth as a leader. Why? The reason. The reason being, once again, dear friends, if you train an youth, you can use that youth for about 30 years, 40 years, and 50 years, for a longer period of a time. But if you train a old person, probably for about 10 years or 15 years, you may use. So the main another strategy that Kautilya said regarding leadership is choose a youth as a leader, train him, and use him for a longer period of a time, so that you can save your time, you can save your energy. Then how did he find this Chandragupta Maurya? Selection of the leader is very, very important. May it be institution or any context or a situation, selecting a proper leader, capable leader, intelligent leader is the prime importance of a leadership qualities. So here, it so happens, once Kautilya was moving on the road, he was walking in the street, he found one boy in the street playing a court scene along with his friends. So just he stood there for a while. Just he started noticing what these guys are playing, what these boys are playing. He saw one boy seated in the center of the group. He was acting the role of a king. So it was a king role performed by that boy, and it was a court scene, and this boy giving a judgment. So Kautilya was just noticing that boy. So royally he was sitting, his body language, and that a kind of a majestic behavior in his whole body, and the way he was representing the whole group, and the way he was trying to give a correct judgment, captivated Kautilya very much. And immediately he decided that this boy will be, or this particular youth icon will be the leader of our country, India. So immediately Kautilya approaches his mother, and mother, a very ordinary family, very poor family. Initially, she was very scared. Why this prominent person has come to me? Why he wants to make my ordinary son or a poor man, this my son as a samrat of this country? She was confused initially. But later on, when she was convinced, so this Chandragupta Maurya, he starts living with Kautilya's under Kautilya's guidance and leadership. That is how later on Chandragupta Maurya becomes the most dominant king of India. And one more thing we have to admire, that is Chandragupta Maurya was also equally expert, equally dominant in the character and the nature and in brilliance. And whatever he heard from his teacher Kautilya, he did not just listen to that, but he himself applied it in his life, applied it in his practical life, implemented it, practiced it, then he had it in his life. So this was a mantra of a success for both Kautilya and Chandragupta Maurya. Dear friends, very often we talk about some universities. Even in the present era, there are ample of universities all over the country, outside the country also. But majority of the universities, whether they are rendering a proper education to the society, proper education to the country, we do not know. Of recently, we have been noticing that majority of the universities have come up like a mushroom, and they have become the factories of manipulating money. That's it. But till today we remember, we recognize, we appreciate some of the universities like Nalanda University. We have a great honor for that. Takshashila University. So then what is the significance of these universities? Yeah, dear friends, we had already I said great universities, and here Takshashila, Nalanda and Vikramashila, these universities were very, very famous during those days. Then what was the methodology of a teaching? Shiksha ki paddhati kya tha? Whether the methodology was the same as it is now? No. Here, when we go back to the bygone days of Takshashila and all these Nalanda universities, there were experts of various subjects in the universities, and there were also various subjects available for the studies. For example, Chanakya was the expert of Rajaniti. He was a Rajaniti expert, and he used to teach it there in the university. And there was a subject like chemistry, even it is there now also, Rasayana Shastra, and metallurgy, Dhatu Vidya, and further there was archery. So this is how so many various subjects were available to study, and above all, there were great experts who taught these subjects. And further, Nalanda and Takshashila, as we know, it was a seat of a knowledge and a seat of a great learning. And where various teachers used to come and teach, and some research activities also would take place. I'm talking about 2,500 years back. So during those days also, research activities took place, and further here students used to come from even the foreign countries to these universities. So not only the Indians, but even foreigners were fascinated and attracted by the methodology of teaching of all these university during those days. So now these universities till today are the benchmarks of the world. Till today, majority of the universities try to follow the rules and the regulations and the benchmarks that are set by Takshashila, Nalanda and Vikramashila universities. So Nalanda is in Bihar, and further Takshashila, of course, it is in Pakistan now. And here, Chandragupta Maurya, let us come back to Chandragupta Maurya. So Kautilya was from these universities. He was the disciple as well as a teacher there. So well trained, well fed. And further, when we talk about the kingmaker Kautilya, he made Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, he was made a king. Even the king also requires a guru. Whether it is a prime minister or a chief minister or a king, one should have Rajaguru in the court, in the vicinity of their management. Because assistance of a Rajaguru is very much essential in each and every step of our life. So this is how, dear friends, the combination of these two, it made a healthy nation and a advanced nation during those days. And once again, selection of a proper leader is very, very essential here, and training, a proper training by a proper guru is also very much essential if someone has to become a correct leader. So normally nowadays what is happening, we don't want to be under the bossism. We don't want to work under the bossism of someone. But nowadays normally what is happening, many startup companies have come, and many new companies our youth they open, but they are under the impression that there are no askers for them, there are no boss for them. But one thing I really do not understand, these youth, when they are with a new startup, they may confront some problems in the future, they may come up with some problems and some difficulties. Then whom they have to approach? If they approach their friends, probably their friends are also not equally competent. So then once again, how it becomes means, it becomes like a blind leading another blind. That is how, dear students, may it be a startup, may it be a new company, one guru, one teacher, one assist is a must for everyone. Only then you can become a good leader of that company or a startup, says Kautilya. But there is also time for retirement. Okay, after some time, we have to retire, the leader has to retire. Then what has to be the another great quality of a leader? Leader, he being a captain, he has to prepare a vice captain. He has to just give all his thorough knowledge to that vice captain. Soon after his retirement, the vice captain has to become the captain of that particular area, company, or startup, or a nation. So another good quality of a leader should be he has to prepare or train his successor. So, dear friends, throughout our life, we have been noticing this Guru Shishya Parampara. Especially this Guru Shishya Parampara is very, very popular in India. And the relationship between the teacher and the disciple is very, very important here. So Guru already we know it was Kautilya, and Shishya we know that was Chandragupta Maurya. Together they created a magic in our country, and that has been a history now. And but we talk about it very often till today, though it is a history. History repeatedly peeps in our present life also, and we talk about the Guru Shishya Parampara of these two people because till today it is relevant to the situation. You cannot just ignore that it is a past. You cannot just ignore it is a history. Sometimes the deep roots of the history are a guiding force for the future for us. So, dear friends, here, when Guru gives you an idea, okay, when Guru gives you an idea, you do not just listen to that. As already I said, you have to just think over that idea. You have to just execute it. For example, Guru or a leader is a pathfinder to us. He just shows a road to walk. So we should walk on that particular path or a road. Whenever there are some problems, whenever there are some difficulties, we should try to come over those problems. So this was another strategy that was said by Kautilya. Whenever problems come, you should be capable of solving your own problems. So here, for example, Chandragupta Maurya had to think how to apply it practically. Of course, he did it very excellently. And in Rajaniti field, lot of unexpected situation comes. As per the say of Kautilya, in Rajaniti situation or in Rajniti, so many unexpected situations occur. So the leader has to be equally competent to face all types of situation. For example, anybody would come in the court of a king, Raj Darbar. In the court of a king, anybody may come. For example, a saint may come, sacred person, a saint may come. So the leader should know, the Raja should know how to welcome him cordially, sacredly, and respectfully. What to talk, what not to talk with a saint, he should know. A very cruel person may also come to the court. So at that time, the leader, the Raja should also know how to tackle this cruel person also. So tackling both saint and the sinner, tackling good situation as well as bad situation should be known by a leader. He should not lose his temper. He should not lose his emotions. He shouldn't be too emotional and sentimental, but the leader, a correct leader, should be capable of handling both good and the bad, and saint and the sinner, as per the say of Kautilya. So the quality of a leadership is to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. Yeah, dear students, majority of the leaders fail here. They cannot distinguish which is correct and which is incorrect, which is correct, which is wrong. So this is one of the extreme good qualities of a leader, that he should be once again capable of distinguishing what is right and what is wrong. And this quality Chandragupta had in him, because he was always obedient to Guru, always listening to the principles of Guru. Yeah, when we grow up, when we become little popular, we become very arrogant. We feel that I'm the most expert person. I did not ask any elders. I did not just take the assistance of a guru, we feel. But once again, dear friends, that shows our arrogance. However popular you may be, however experienced you may be, and the experience of the elderly person is always required to become a perfect leader. So when our disciples grow big, they think that they are superior to Guru. And when children grow big, they think that there is no necessity of the assistance of their teachers or parents in the houses also. So once again, this arrogance should not be there in the leader. If he becomes arrogant, then he is going to fail in one or the other field. So Chandragupta Maurya always accepted the guidance of his Guru. That is very, very important. And Kautilya also accepted his disciple wholeheartedly. So acceptance between the leader and the Guru is also equally important to run their further life smoothly. So here we have heard about so many pairs in the history. Like we heard about, like as I say, Akbar and Birbal stories we have heard, and Tenali Ramakrishna and Krishna Devaraya pair we have heard. In the similar way, in the history we find the pair of a Kautilya as well, Kautilya and Chandragupta Maurya. So they were actually made for each other and supported each other. That is how they could make a strong nation, that was India. That is India. So here Bharat ka Nirman bolte hain, making of the nation was possible by these two. Dear friends, a real teacher is a one who is a constant learner, we have heard. So the real teacher is the one who has always quest for a knowledge. I cannot say that this is the end of my this one, I completed my syllabus of this semester and this is the end of my career or a syllabus or end of my semester or a learning. But here the real teacher is the one who has a constant quest, constant thirst, constant hunger and thirst for a knowledge. And in modern times, especially, technology gets updated very fast. So now we see that as of now, so iPhone 12, iPhone 12 is already in the hand. Okay, so we feel that I have got the latest technology in the hand. But at the same time, iPhone 12 or iPhone 13 is already getting ready. Soon after the release of 11 or 12, the next versions are getting ready here, so that you cannot say that this is the updated version, this is the latest technology. This technology, it goes on getting updated very often. So it is a constant process. In the similar way, we teachers, the leader also should get updated himself to the need of the situation and the society. So we see that Chandragupta Maurya sat on the throne and he became very popular. He built a new nation. Then what was next? When the mission was over, Kautilya's mission was over, what was next? What was he doing? So this Kautilya, after making a king, Chandragupta Maurya, he sat in his ashrama and he was busy in his research activities. You cannot put an end to your career. You cannot put an end to your studies. Even after becoming successful also, what next? What are the next research activities that are to be taken? So all these points are to be studied. So he made King Chandragupta, he made Chandragupta Maurya a leader and a king. And Chandragupta Maurya's son was Bindusara. And after him comes King Ashoka, and who participated in the Kalinga War. Everybody knows about him. And after training Chandragupta Maurya, grandfather of King Ashoka, he started training his grandson, King Ashoka. So the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya. So dear friends, one thing we have to notice, grandfather Chandragupta Maurya's time was different and grandson Ashoka's time was different. There was a generation gap. Nowadays, it is heard that earlier parents and children generation gap, it was called as a generation gap. So it was reduced to 10 years. So nowadays it is reduced to 5 years and 2 years. Nowadays, generation gap, it is very, very difficult to assess and assess. So in the similar way here, there was a gap between father and grandson. So what strategies Kautilya used to Chandragupta Maurya, he cannot use the same strategies, same principles to the grandson. Because during Chandragupta Maurya, battles were very prominent, very often wars used to take place. That is how Kautilya focused his attention on the warfares, war strategies. That is how he used to guide him. But now grandson, at a time of a grandson, wars are absolutely reduced. No more wars very often. And now he has to focus his attention. He has to teach Rajaniti to this grandson, King Ashoka. One thing we have to always remember, that is, Chandragupta Maurya became Emperor of India, whereas his grandson Ashoka became Emperor of the whole globe. Becoming Emperor of the whole globe, once again, is not everybody's cup of tea. It is, once again, it is not that easy. But here, King Ashoka became a global emperor and his capital went up to Japan and China also. So there is a particular word used by Kautilya, that is Vijigishu. There is a Sanskrit word, Vijigishu, that means becoming number one in the globe. So to become number one in the globe, once again, is not that easy, but that was achieved by King Ashoka by the help of Kautilya. Then further, Kautilya said to King Ashoka, if at all you want to become a global leader, you need to learn different languages. You need to learn as many languages as is possible for you. Yes, dear friends, we get an opportunity to learn one language, but we don't need much importance for learning other languages. We are very contented, we are very happy only with our mother tongue. But nowadays, English has become compulsory, it has become mandatory, so that is how we learn English. But apart from learning English and our mother tongue, we don't need much importance for learning other languages. But as per the say of Kautilya, if at all you want to become a real leader, if you at all you want to become a successful person in the life, try to learn many languages. That is how, this is what he taught to King Ashoka. And it was an amazing factor that King Ashoka learned 24 languages. Very amazing factor. And he says, for example, if I go to Bombay, suppose think that I go to Bombay, the prominent language in the Bombay spoken is Hindi. So I should know Hindi there. Suppose think if I go to Kerala, the language, the dialect that is used in Kerala is Malayalam. So if I want to grow closer to Kerala people, I should know their regional dialect. I should know their mother tongue. So this is how, through the languages, through their mother tongue, you can grow closer to the people. This is how you can become a successful leader, says Kautilya. So dear friends, even in the present scenario, if we want to become a leader, let us try to learn 2, 3, 4, 5 languages. And many have already acquired it. Many have already learned it, I hope. And though I'm not a leader, just a professor, mother tongue Kannada, teaching language English. So my institution language Marathi and the society language somewhere it is Hindi. This is how I try to speak 4 languages here, which I feel a matter of a great pride. So dear friends, so Kautilya was Arthashastrajna. His subject, many people think that his favorite subject was Arthashastra, economics. Many people think in this way. But apart from that, Kautilya's other favorite subjects were Rasayana Shastra, that was chemistry. And apart from that, metallurgy, Dhatu Vidya was the most favorite subject of Kautilya. So one thing we have to remember that 2500 years back, he introduced coinage system. So coinage, coins were not there, currency was not there, but that was introduced by Chandragupta Maurya. So they made coins in a Tankashala, they made coins of metal. So they used gold, silver, brass, bronze. So other metals were used to make these coins. But gradually, what happened, these coins were heavier to carry. As they were made of metals, they were very heavy. And after that, before this coinage system, there was a barter system all over the country. There was a barter system. So what is this barter system? Still coins and currency were not introduced during those days. And agriculture was the dominant and the prominent profession in India. More than 75% of people were busy in that. And what I grow in my field, suppose think that I'm growing wheat. I exchange 1 kg of my wheat with a person who is growing cotton or jowar or a rice, like that. So exchange of goods instead of money. So here, the valuation of the food grains or what I exchange may not be equal. That is how the barter system was not very comfortable like amongst the people. But one thing we have to remember, during olden days, a coolie person who works throughout a day, is given a food as a salary, or it was given as a coolie to him. And most of the times it is very ridiculous to know that at the end of the day, a coolie was offered spices as salary. Salary का रूप में उसको, कूली का रूप में उसको spices दिए जाते थे. He was offered some cloves, some cardamom, some spices as a salary. And after that, some more people were not very happy with this barter system. Then they shifted to coinage system. This was introduced by Chandragupta Maurya. And later on, after certain days and years, coins were very heavy to found, and there was a chance of a robbery. And that is how they shifted to notes, currency notes. So comparing to that, currency notes, as we all know, lighter to carry, very comfortable to carry. And after that, we found that also very difficulty. Then we started carrying our checkbooks or check. So now, no more checks, no more coins, and no more currencies. If you go to bank for some transaction, they say, why do you come to bank, madam? Why don't you do it online? So now we have come here to this level and reached to this online transaction. So this was a kind of a revolution. This happened, and later on, when we look at Kautilya was not happy with a certain valuation of certain things. For example, you take Singapore, a very small country, but at the same time, it is rich country. And why it has become rich, though it is very small, but it is all because of their high valuation of their currency. So their currency has got high valuation. That is how, though the country is very small, they are regarded as rich. So here, today, majority of our country, major part of our country is filled with IT companies. That is how this currency system is made more easier and more comfortable. So it is all, according to Kautilya, it is all a financial game. So in the financial game, then also corruption existed, and even now also the corruption is prevailing in some parts of the country and institutions. So to conclude with, here, Chanakya was a great thinker. He was great a researcher and a great practical applier of his theories in the life. And he did it continuously throughout his life. That is how he could make kings, and he himself could become a great leader. Dear friends, now on this occasion, I just would like to thank the organizers for having given me an opportunity to share few of the ideas which I had read very recently about Kautilya. So Kautilya's strategies, Kautilya's philosophies are still relevant today, though they belong to the past period. Because you cannot just continue the present, you cannot just assess the future without the help of the past knowledge and the past information. That is how many are wanting, aspiring to become a great leaders today. Many are already great leaders. No doubt, majority of the people have also taken the principles from Kautilya. So I am very happy reading Kautilya, and there are so many matters to be discussed still further. If an opportunity is given in the future, I'm going to share those things with you people. But half an hour duration is given to me. I thank all the organizers once again, Prakash Divakaran sir, especially his whole eminent team for having given me an opportunity. With these few words, I would like to take leave from you all. Thank you once again.
It is always great pleasure having you on board and listening to your eye-opening ideas and reiterating, I would say, taking us back in time and trying to realize where we come from, who we were, and where we are headed. That's a real inspiring, motivating, and an eye-opening session, especially even after myself spending half of the time abroad, almost 20 years in America. I'm here for my research, and I feel I'm going through a nice refresher course back in my school days about the importance of history and what we take certain things granted for and just keep chasing and moving forward in life without realizing sometimes the direction, without having a compass in our mind. So thank you very much. I would let the participants ask questions or suggestions, comments, discussion.
Sir, good morning. Good morning, sir. I am Dr. Mail Murugan.
Very good morning, Dr. Mail Murugan, sir.
Very good morning. Really happy to see Professor Vijay Lakshmi at this occasion. Really, she has taken back with the Kaudilya's Arthasastra. Really, I admire. There is a book, Kaudilya's Arthasastra, 1904. There's a lot of inputs what you said. Really appreciate. In Arthasastra, there are about 6. We used to teach while we teach accounts. There are 6 chapters in Arthasastra, and for the first 5 chapters, it dealt with how to run the government. What are the strategies to be adapted to run the government? And the 6th chapter, it is about economics. And one part of economics, there is a term is called maintenance of accounts. There, what you mentioned from the stone to now is a number. The currency concept really she has given the right time, because without whatever she said, it's based on past only we can move further. There is a quote from Chanakya. It is with full effort and guided by reason, man makes success sure. Yes. So every one of us, we have to follow those things with full effort and guided by reason. Hopefully, our madam has rightly said in this forum to recall those things. In our accounting, we used to say stewardship accounting to forensic accounting. No, stewardship accounting to forensic accounting. Even though the accounting, the Kautilya's is a first basic book before it's called Lokopasyala. It's the father of accounting. So just as he has recalled it, thank you, ma'am, for yes, a very inspirational speech to every one of us. Hopefully, this would be getting after some time also. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I have a question. Can I ask? Jalakshmi, ma'am?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes. Ma'am, it was really a nice presentation, and I noted down some points. The last point, especially, that we should learn other languages. Now, my question to you is, ma'am, as you told that yes, Kautilya is still relevant here in the present situation also. That may be one of the reasons that one question was asked in MA question paper of Banaras Hindu University Political Science. in the year 2017.
Okay.
Write an essay on nature of GST in Kautilya Arthashastra. So what is your take on it?
Your sound is echoing, sir. I'm unable to understand your question. It is
Yeah,
echoed.
Prabhadevi ma'am, please, if you could just mute yourself.
Yeah, there was a question in examination regarding Kautilya's.
You told that, ma'am, Kautilya's Arthashastra or Kautilya's philosophy is still relevant in the present date also, and lot to learn. So that may be one of the reasons that the Banaras Hindu universities, there was a political science question paper, MA question paper, and the question was asked, write an essay on nature of GST in Kautilya Arthashastra. What is your take on that?
Okay. A very good question poked by you. But I'm not a commerce teacher because about GST, I do not have much knowledge. Probably the commerce teachers may help about this one. If it is a general question, I would have been certainly answered. Regarding GST, I don't have thorough information and knowledge about GST. Hence, I belong to the Department of Languages. But
Yes,
one thing I would like to say candidly, say very confidently, whatever the situation may be, whatever the thing it may be, whatever the philosophy or a problem it may be, Kautilya's philosophies, they are applicable to every situation, sir. If any commerce professor is there, they can help me out in this connection I'm feeling.
In fact, ma'am, all the professors of Banaras Hindu University were shocked at how this question was asked, and therefore I would like to pass on to Malil sir, Malil Murugan, if you could just.
Murugan sir will help me in this connection because GST and other
very good question. Really, regarding GST, previously there was no GST, no sales tax. Actually, it was a custom. A person who is doing trading activities with any other country, so once they import the goods, it is to be shown in front of kingdom. So whatever the trading activities taken place, it has to be displayed in front of king. So whatever the input, then the king used to ask what gift you are going to give back to the country because you belong to this country. Then immediately the trader, the Vanigar, used to say, so whatever you want, you take it. Then the king know what he used to tell. So this type of, out of these goods it is meant for our rural mass, so that you can take that particular goods. So that was a starting point for the indirect tax customs act. That's why the word custom, it is nothing but a practice. Even suppose if anybody is going out of country, so what you purchase for me, in between the relationship you used to ask. In the same line, it was the origin of customs duty. From there, we have taken into this one. And one more origin from Rajagopalacharya, Rajaji. He was instrumental to bring the sale tax after some time. The sale tax, in the sense, suppose a bill consists of 14 rupees 79 pice. So they will, in order to round it off, so they added 25 pice as tax, not as a tax, which is called in Tamil Mahimai, for doing services among the traders. So they need some common fund. So they have added 29 pice. Suppose your bill is 15 rupees 95 pice, your 0.05 pice, it's your rounding of tax. So then from there it has taken into Tamil Nadu sales tax. From there it is central sales tax. From there VAT, now we are in GST.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your help.
Ma'am, can I ask one more question, Manoj Jain, sir?
Please, please,
Yeah,
please.
Yes. Ma'am, during the entire presentation, you highlighted about the Guru and Shishya relationship also. Yeah, which is very important. One question, which I don't know, therefore I'm asking you. In this Gurukul system, which existed, were females also there?
Probably what we have been noticing right from the beginning, sir, there were no female characters or no girl students.
Okay,
Okay. In the olden days.
Okay. And last
and
but
one
not
more thing, Kautilya also talks about some Indian I mean, Indian history and heritage, and especially has given much importance for the rituals. Very often, we Indian people aspire for some rituals, sir. In the olden days, especially, we talk about yajna or yagadi, or they used to perform some yajnas and yagas, okay? And they wanted to please the deities or goddesses or gods. So at time of some crisis, at time of some problems, they used to perform pujas in a larger scale. For example, even in King Dasharatha, we have heard about him, and he organized Putra Kamesti Yaga. Okay, he had also organized Putra Kamesti Yaga because he had no issues. We already know in the story, and he had no issues. He wanted to have children, and that is how he organizes this Putra Kamesti Yaga. And once that yaga and yajna was over successfully, we have read that gods appeared in front of him. They became pratyaksha in front of him, and he offered a pot of a payasa to him, and he took it, he drank it, and he also gave it to his wives. And after some time, they had children. This was a story. No doubt it was a story. But here, performing yajna and yaga and puja, he also talks about some black magic. So if you believe that there is a black magic, there is also a white magic. So black magic in the sense, as we hear black in the sense, we feel darkness. It is a ignorance. It is a kind of a pessimism. So black magic is always used for a wrong purposes. But Kautilya, though he knew black magic, he never used it for his personal grudges. But white magic always is supportive. It is very optimistic. That is how Kautilya says that in our life, we have both black magic as well as white magic. But this black magic was used in the battles to defeat the opponents. But here, which is required for our life, if at all you want to lead the life comfortably. For example, Yajna and Yagadi were not only prominent during those, even nowadays also. Just you look at the life of politicians. Politicians before entering into the election, after becoming successful in the election, they also hold some pujas. They hold some yajna, yagadi along with their kins and kids and family people. That is how these rituals in India, they were existing not only in the past, but you can say even they are existing till today. And old wine in the new bottle, in the new form, in the new context, in the new shape, in the new practices, you can say, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I just asked that question just because that means in the Gurukul system, basically the Guru were giving, or the Shishyas were only the males, and the knowledge was transferred only to the males. And from those males, it may be transferred to the female. So
No,
definitely,
no.
some
I don't want to
changes may-
focus on, no,
Okay,
not
okay.
like that, Mr. Male. You are
So that's why I asked
repeatedly
you. No problem.
No,
Thank you, ma'am.
not
Thanks a
like
lot.
that. As far as my knowledge is concerned, very often we have seen males in the Gurukula system, but gradually there might be also gradual, what we have been noticing, some girls also entered, and now at least there are majority of the girl students getting education in higher education also, of course.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
It is